Microbes and human welfare. Microbial ecology. Bacteria recycle carbon, nutrients, sulfur, and phosphorus that can be used by plants and animals. Bioremediation. Bacteria degrade organic matter in sewage. Have you ever wondered how the water that we retrieve from our sinks or take a shower with is cleaned? Well, they go through water treatments. So Clayton County has a water authority, and this is a link to the Clayton County Water Authority, and I'm just showing you the website now, so you can see how Clayton County actually cleans the water that comes from our homes and from businesses. They explain that there's a primary treatment, a secondary treatment, and a tertiary treatment. Primary treatment is to get rid of the big stuff, and then the secondary treatment allows for them to add bacteria, and then the bacteria degrades the organic matter that's found inside of the water. And then from there it goes through a tertiary sequence, etc., etc. Bacteria also degrades or detoxifies pollutants such as oil and mercury. So in our news or in the past, we have heard about oil spills. Exxon had a huge oil spill, and then after them came the BP oil spill several years ago. And there was so much oil that they had to use bacteria. And bacteria was put on top of the oil. And when the bacteria was put on top of the oil, it degraded that oil and allowed for the water to become cleaner. Biological insecticides. Microbes that are pathogenic to insects are alternatives to chemical pesticides in preventing insect damage to agricultural crops and disease transmission. So usually we have to spray our crops with pesticides to prevent the insects from damaging those crops. Of course, if you're an organic person, you know that this is not good, simply because, those chemical pesticides can cause problems in humans. So, Bacillus thuringiensis infections are fatal in many insects, but harmless to other animals, including humans and to plants. So what we can do is, here you see in the picture that we have a plant that has been damaged by insects. So what we can do is put the bacillus on top of the plant, and it won't cause any harm to the plant, it won't cause any harm to us, but it will cause harm to the insect. So hence our crops will not be damaged. Biotechnology, the use of microbes to produce foods and chemicals, is centuries old. So we've been using bacteria to produce cheese for years and centuries. Recombinant DNA technology is a new technique for biotechnology that enables bacteria and fungi to produce a variety of proteins, including vaccines and enzymes. Examples: missing or defective genes in human cells can be replaced in gene therapy. Inserting genes for use for enzymes inside of bacterial DNA, for example, E. coli. It's efficient and it has a fast production of the enzyme by bacteria. For example of this is insulin. We know that diabetes is on the rise in the United States population, so hence probably we need a lot more insulin than we needed in the past. So what we can do is reprogram E. coli to produce insulin. And E. coli goes through binary fission every 20 minutes. So every 20 minutes you're going to be producing insulin. We also talked about genetically modified bacteria that are used to protect crops from insects and from freezing. Microbes and human disease. Bacteria were once classified as plants, giving rise to the name of the term flora for microbes. This term has now been replaced by microbiota. So normally you will hear me say normal flora, or you might hear me say normal microbiota. Microbes normally present in and on the human body are called normal microbiota. So we would find normal microbiota in our skin, in our nose, in our large intestine. Normal microbiota prevents the growth of pathogens, so it protects us. Normal microbiota produces growth factors such as folic acid and vitamin K. It provides resistance. So resistance is the ability of the body to ward off a disease. Some other resistance factors include skin, stomach acid, and antimicrobial chemicals. Biofilms. Biofilms are microbes that attach to solid surfaces and grow into masses. They will grow on rocks, pipes, teeth, and medical implants. So this is a picture showing you what biofilms look like. In the morning when we wake up, if we were to run our tongue across the top of our teeth, we would feel a film across the teeth. That is a biofilm. And if you let it stay there too long, then it will develop into plaque. But the microbes are attaching to the solid surface of your teeth and growing into masses. Infectious diseases is when a pathogen overcomes the host resistance and disease results. Emergent infectious diseases is an EID, and when you have EID, it's either a new disease or a disease that's increasing in incidence. So you have a disease that was prevalent before, but now it's rising. Examples of some emerging infectious diseases: one would be West Nile encephalitis, which was caused by the West Nile virus. It was first diagnosed in the West Nile region of Uganda in 1937. It appeared in New York City in 1999. It is now present in non-migratory birds in 47 states. I charge you to go and check out the latest outbreak of West Nile, since we are now back into summer months technically. So we should be on we should be aware of West Nile. Bovine spongiform encephalopathy, also known as aka mad cow disease. It's caused by a prion. Prions also causes Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which is CJD. The human mad cow disease is called new variant CJD. It's not called mad cow disease or bovine spongiform encephalopathy. In us, it's called new variant CJD, and it's found in humans that is related to cattle that have been fed sheep offal for protein. So these cows were fed the sheep offal that had the prions, and then we ate the cow, and that's how we acquired the new variant CJD. Ebola hemorrhagic fever is caused by the Ebola virus. It causes fever, hemorrhaging, and blood clotting. It was first identified near the Ebola River in the Congo, and you have outbreaks every few years. Avian influenza A, also known as bird flu, is caused by influenza A virus H5N2. It's primarily in waterfowl and poultry. Sustained human-to-human transmission has not occurred yet, so we've seen it go from bird to human, but not from human to human. So, what do you know about swine flu? Well, swine flu is caused by the influenza A virus H1N1, and it was detected in April 2009 in New Mexico and Texas. From there, it spread like wildfire through the rest of the United States and then to the rest of the world. At that time, it was being spread from person to person, so it was extremely contagious because it mimicked the seasonal flu. And we were snatching hand sanitizers off the table, off of the store shelves, because we were so scared of getting this swine flu. And now, a lot of people don't even remember what swine flu was. So that was an emergent infectious disease that eventually fizzled out. Here's a comic that says, the turkeys have bird flu, the cows have mad cow disease. I'm telling you boys, unless you want to see more ham served on Thanksgiving, we're going to have to get our own disease. So the pigs united and came up with their own disease. Cryptosporidiosis is caused by a protozoa called Cryptosporidium. It's first reported in 1976 and it causes 30% of diarrheal illness in developing countries. In the United States, it's transmitted via water. So I have a picture of a water park here for you, or a pool. And the symptoms of cryptosporidias include stomach cramps, fevers, or diarrhea. It can be contracted by swimming in infected water. So if someone is infected and in the water, then you can get it. Coming in contact with animals, or even drinking raw unpasteurized milk. So I charge you as well to check out the latest outbreak of cryptosporidosis. MRSA. I'm sure some of us have heard of MRSA before. It stands for methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. So once penicillin was discovered, remember, it became mass-produced. We started using it to treat everything. Well, then in the 1950s, we began to see penicillin resistance develop. From there, in the 1980s, we then see methicillin resistance develop. In the 1990s, we see that the MRSA resistance to vancomycin was then reported. So then we came up with two more names, VISA, meaning vancomycin intermediate resistant Staph aureus, and vancomycin resistant Staph aureus. And here is a picture of someone that has MRSA. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, is caused by the virus human immunodeficiency virus, also known as HIV. It was first identified in 1981. It is now a worldwide epidemic infecting 33 million people. There are 7,500 new infections every day. It is a sexually transmitted infection affecting both males and females. And if we look at the current prevalence and incidence in the United States for HIV, 26% are females, so that means the majority of the infected are males, and 49% are African American. Here ends Chapter 1.